Hello everybody. Good evening. It's almost 9 o'clock my time. I was beginning to think I was never going to make it. I wanted to, put on my black dress and my dark black eyeshadow. I even tried to color my hair myself today, which I usually don't do a very good job. And and I'm having ring light issues once again, ring light issues. I've got a tripod here and the ring light behind it. The thing is though, lately as I've been talking about thinking of what you want and using your intention, I've been needing glue and I've been hesitating to buy because I wasn't sure what kind. And when I finally decided I really wanted super glue, when I went to the gym, got out of the car, there it was right on the ground. It's perfectly fine. It's brand new and it's full. So I am going to glue the ring light like I said I would. And there's always stuff around here, I swear. Every time I turn around, something needs to be glued. I'm coming unglued. Welcome to my channel. I am Sabrina. I am a psychic medium, clairvoyant, shamanic witch. I've had many experiences over the years as I have grown. And if you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for returning. Last week on my Wednesday Night Live, which if you don't know, I've been having Wednesday Night Lives. I've had at least 4 or 5 of them now, I believe. My first 2 were on my phone, and then my next 2 were on my new Chromebook. I love it. It's wonderful. I've had people stop by and ask me questions, so they have a chance to kind of really get to know me. And then while I'm sitting there, I actually start to come up with stories. I'm remembering things that have happened to me, so you have a chance to actually get to know me better. And some of the interesting or crazy things that have happened to me, such as not being aware of my thoughts after so many years of working at an altar, making a wish, and after a few weeks something happening, and me not using the caveat, I would wish this to happen with good to all concerned. And so, yeah, if you haven't seen that, go back to my most recent Witchy Wednesday night live stream. It looks like this upcoming Wednesday live stream is going to have to be postponed. I made a community post that is a possibility. I have now several invitations to take me out to celebrate my 64th birthday. Yay! And I'm losing weight once again. This is like the 3rd time in my adult life, maybe the 4th. But yeah, you know what? This time I think it's going to be even better than ever. So, tonight I'm going to talk about the dark moon in my dark moon series. It's in my playlist. For some reason, our culture, our society decided to stop calling the dark moon, and they started calling it the new moon. And this is something that I know astronomers say. They call it the new moon. However, the technical term is the dark moon. And now I'm not a Wiccan, but this is a wonderful book that I've been referring to every single month, and I think I've made 11 dark moon videos in the signs so far. And this is a wonderful book by Gail Wood. And she makes it very elaborate. There's a ritual for everything, but there's a wonderful, it's just a wonderful source of information here. There's some history about it and the energies that it really presents. So Now, I also talked about recently on my Wednesday night live, excuse me if I'm not, my thoughts are scattered, but I did sit and think for several hours this morning. So, on my last live, I introduced a brand new astronomy app that I was led to. So I no longer am going to make a mistake about where the moon is, what sign it is in. Because when I switched to sidereal astrology, and if you don't know, I did a working 2 years ago with the Queen of Heaven and Earth, Astarte. And she started showing me things on every single dark moon for probably 3 or 4 until I finally got it and said, call me slow, but I think the dark moon is heralding in a brand new constellation. This is astronomy, and the Mesopotamians were masters at it. The people that came before them had already started studying the heavens and astronomy. And as I talked in one of my Wednesday night lives, why? Well, because they wanted to see if there was a correlation between what's been happening here on Earth and what's happening up in the sky. Can we get like a green flag that would indicate to us that there's a flood coming? In other words, like when the Nile is going to flood, or when we're going to have a summer season, I guess, or the time that we need to plant seeds and when we need to harvest and when winter is coming, right? That was vital for their survival. And sure enough, they found a connection. As above, so below. And so the astronomers were passing down a knowledge, and then there were governors and governesses, high priestess and high priestesses, and somewhere along the line, Astarte was created after, I believe, after the god Anu. But she was very important in the city of Ur. I'd like someday to go there. So, yes, along with that, she's taught me about our soil, the importance of how it really needs to be taken care of, and that I'm eating more organic foods than I was previously. So I am getting healthier in this toxic world full of toxic water, toxic air, toxic, our foods don't really have enough nutrition in them. And so I'm, once again, I'm growing food in pots because I don't have an in-ground garden anymore. But this is why I started studying and looking into sidereal astrology, which is star astrology. And as one thing led to another, I decided maybe I should redo my chart. And I redid my natal chart and found out my rising is not Aries, but Pisces. And at first I thought, what? And then, within a half an hour, I realized it makes perfect sense. So, by looking at the stars, and now I'm using this Sky Tonight app, I'll be showing you some snapshots of what I've been looking at in the heavens as I'm learning how to use it. And I only have the free version right now. I think it's like $7 for a lifetime access to the app with no restrictions. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that within the next month as I return to work. So yeah, the sun astrology, which is Western astrology, as I've been saying, it really only follows the sun, and you can't just go by that. My sun sign is Cancer, which is what's in the heavens now. The sun is not quite there yet. I'll insert a picture. But the dark moon, which is really the onset of it, is tonight. And it might be 100% full dark tomorrow. And then my birthday's Wednesday. So it's kind of like a rebirth for me as well. I see where there's a conjunction of the sun and the dark moon. I could feel it, and I've been given dreams, but now I'm looking at the astronomy on the app, and I can see the moon is dark because the sun is behind it, and the earth is over here. So the sunlight is here, and it's blocking any light from the moon. The light's on the back side of the moon, and the front side facing us is dark because the sun is behind it. And this happens every 28 to 30 days, and that's when we have a whole new constellation coming in. That's what's going on in the heavens. Why do we need to know this? Well, we're gauging the seasons. So even though my sun is in Cancer, because that is the season and the constellation I was born under, my rising is different. That's when the sun was rising in the east. And I don't 1000% understand all of that yet either. I have to look at things in all different angles, like I'm starting to now. But this is the true stuff that's going on in the heavens. And now the reason why, for one reason that I had been thought to have a rising in Aries is because of something called precession. And I've mentioned this on my live. If you don't know what it is that every 72 years the sun appears to move like 1 degree. And so after, what is it? I think I calculated over 1,000 years, it's moved so many degrees that when they're still charting you from the old chart of the stars, the sky, you're no longer that sign. After 30 degrees, you're not an Aries, you're a Pisces. And it was when I went back to, I came upon that video again, that had hit me between the eyes, is when I realized, oh my God, my rising might not be Aries. And so again, this is why I am following what's happening in the heavens with the stars at the very top of everything that's going on. So we get a true gauge of what's really happening. So for example, we see the sun in Cancer, we see the dark moon. Now with the Sky Night app, you cannot see the constellation Cancer there. You have to touch the search bar and type in Cancer, and then it'll show you the constellation. Then you have to very carefully zoom, and you still have to go, looking for the dark moon. Where's the dark moon? Well, it's moving away from Leo. Wait. Yeah. It's in between Leo and Gemini. And the Sky Night app just doesn't show it unless you search and type it in. But then you'll see there's the sun, and then you have to look for the moon. So right now the moon looks like it's just kind of hanging out there in dark space. But it's in between Leo and Gemini, right by Cancer. And it is going, it is moving. So within 3 days, it will no longer be hanging out in Cancer. It will be going on to Virgo. Virgo's gigantic. It practically consumes Leo, Cancer, and Gemini. And that could be why the Skynet app doesn't really show Cancer, because it's so small. Technically, it probably doesn't even have 30 degrees. But to make things easier, many years ago, they divided everything up into 12 houses and 30 degrees. That just doesn't really reflect the true sky, okay? So when I talk to you about where is the sun and where is the moon and the constellations, it's so that you understand nature in this way, the elements and the energies associated with it, and to gear your magic. So if you're doing anything at your altar, any type of spell work, you need to think about what's going on really in the heavens. Everything that is going to fall under the umbrella of the Cancer energies, which are family, fertility, home, loved ones, nurturing, pregnancy, familial love, okay, and emotions. Building a nest, you know what I mean? Making a home. And the energy, of course, is water. So if you're trying to really work on things right now that are for business, it's probably going to work better if you're working towards your intention, your magics for work at home, working from home. Home business, something from home, even if it's just part-time. Getting clients in your home, so to speak, through the computer for your work, your online work from home, being able to be home. Now, I don't think we should be home all the time. We should be finding ways to release our emotions like I do when I go to the gym. Quite honestly, I've always felt good when I'm pushing things or pulling things. I just can't do it for more than, half an hour or so. And you don't in the gym. You don't. You learn not to overexert yourself. So, the element is water. Let's see what Gail Wood has to say. Gail Wood has to say. It's dark in here. Sorry. Yes. So, as we had in the springtime, the maiden, we now have the mother. The water mother is very subtle mother with the outer shell and the inside that is soft and not immediately observable. All right. I'm Cancer, basically for many years very introverted, very shy, and overly sensitive, and I had to learn to really come out of my shell. I do have quite a bit of Leo in me. You could say I'm on the cusp, as you'll see in these pictures that I show you. The 19th is just right there by Leo. Looks like it's actually going into Leo. So, but my sun is in Cancer. So we have the mother in Cancer is very emotional. We may be someone who feels and expresses every thought and emotion as it happens. Taken to extremes, the emotional mother, water mother, is truly a dark mother. Okay. Yes, the element is water, and in this case I would say, I haven't read it, but from studying her book so far after this series of at least 10 that I have done and read, at the middle of the year I would say she is a stream, or maybe a babbling brook. And then later in the year, the water mother would be more like the ocean, and of course, a grandmother. So that is basically what I wanted to say to you this evening. And I wish that we could be engaged right now so that we could talk about it, and I might do that. But it looks like because of my 2 invitations on Wednesday, I am going to push the Wednesday night live to next week. So in other words, I'm not going to have it this Wednesday. My friend's coming over at 6. There's probably no way for me to kick her out and sit down at 7 for the live. So I'm going to cancel it, postpone it, move it 1 week up for chit chat, belated birthday celebration, meet and greet. And then you can ask me any questions you would like to ask me about the app or the dark moon and the signs or whatever magics you're doing right now. But just remember that whatever magics you're doing right now, they're going to fall under the element of water, the heavenly body of the moon, and be very well suited for things that require reconciliation, good feelings towards one another, healing. Okay, I just got a gnat in my mouth. Oh my God. Hello, summer. And, you know, what I've already stated, those things we really, really, really need to keep in mind. And also myself, because when people ask me, you know, why does it not happen? I don't get what I'm asking for. Again, we need to walk with the wind and not against the wind. This is really a practice of honoring the nature and our place in it here on earth, and the pleasures of the earth, whether it's, you know, considered just being more physical and the pleasures of the physical. Well, any magics that you do, you're working with nature, and that includes the stars. Earth is made of star stuff. So we have to consider that. Like I said, and if you're trying to work towards getting something that is much more Mars oriented completely, right, then it might not really be happening under a Cancer constellation. You can still work with Mars and the moon. I've done it to get help from my mother, and things that were being blocked were actually unblocked thanks to me bringing in the energy of Mars. But I included the moon and I called on the goddess, okay? So just remember that, and include the water mother goddess energies, water, things of that nature. And yeah, those types of things are going to be much more helpful in making sure that you manifest what it is that you need for this month under the Cancer constellation. All right? Thank you very much, and I will see you in a few days.